French warplanes launched their first airstrike this morning against ISIS targets in Iraq. That follows Thursday's U.S. attack on a training camp outside Mosul and an ISIS ammunition stockpile near Baghdad. In Washington last night, the Senate went along with the House approving President Obama's plan to train and arm Syrian rebels fighting ISIS. The president praised the bipartisan show of support.
With their barbaric murder of 2 Americans, these terrorists thought they could frighten us or intimidate us or cause us to shrink from the world, but today they're learning the same hard lesson of petty tyrants and terrorists who've gone before. As Americans, we do not give in to fear.
Bill Plante is at the White House, where officials still face tough questions about the president's plan. Bill, good morning.
Well, good morning. You know, there have been more than 170 U.S. airstrikes in Iraq already, but the president will not call this war. And officials in Washington continue to argue over how to describe this fight against ISIS and the role that U.S. service members will play. Testifying on Capitol Hill, Secretary of State John Kerry again faced repeated questions over whether the U.S. is at war.
A lot of people are debating this idea of what do you call it? You call it war, don't you call it war? It's not a war like Iraq, but if you care about what you call it, it is a war similar to what we did with al-Qaeda.
Scores of heavily armed U.S. servicemen are already working alongside Iraqi troops. But despite the danger, White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest insisted they are not in combat.
They would not be in a position where their specific responsibility was to personally or directly engage the enemy in combat.
But he acknowledged the situation could change.
Iraq is a very dangerous place. And American military personnel will have the equipment that they need to defend themselves.
President Obama took a more emphatic stance.
The American forces that have been deployed to Iraq do not and will not have a combat mission.
The motion is agreed to.
Crossing a final hurdle, senators approved the president's request for authority to train moderate Syrian forces. But it didn't come without criticism.
Why is it that the President of the United States keeps telling the people that are slaughtering thousands, don't worry, we won't commit ground troops?
This is a military strategy, I believe, designed around political promises. This is not the military strategy you would create to destroy or devastate ISIL.
And it's not just members of Congress who aren't convinced. Some of the generals aren't either. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs suggested earlier this week that the policy of no boots on the ground might have to be reconsidered. That got slapped down hard. But some of his colleagues, retired and active, are equally skeptical. Jeff?
Bill Plante, thank you very much.